So in the gym changing room, I'm singing, and I'm singing actually a song that I'll record. It's Elvis's "Ring Around Your Neck," and I was singing that, and some guy walks in, some random guy, never seen him before, and he went, "You've got a good voice, mate." I said, "Oh, thank you, appreciate that." And I'm like, why in all these years of me putting up my music on YouTube has probably only one or two people maximum in all the years I've been doing my music ever said, "You've got a nice voice, you're a good singer"? Why is that, do you think? Is it because you are always comparing the songs I sing to the ones in your head? I mean, look, when I'm singing Elvis and things like that, very few people on this planet are going to compete with Elvis. And so for me to take on an Elvis song, well, it's all downhill from there on, isn't it? Unless it's really good and people are like, "Oh, fucking hell, I'm surprised by that." But if it isn't really, really good, if it's a little bit out of tune, or the rhythm's not quite on, or it sounds different because it's not accompanied with all the instrumentation, the backing vocals and all that, then it doesn't live up to your expectation, does it? And nobody ever says anything. Yeah, a few people thumb up, but there are some of my songs, like Designated Drinker. I've played that song to a few people and say, "What do you think about this?" Because it's got like 50 hits and it's only got 3 thumbs up. What the fuck's going on? I'm pretty well on key all through the song. There may be just a little bit here and there, but all said and done, it wasn't a fucking bad attempt. Why can't people soften a little bit? Why can't people listen and go, "Yeah, that's not a bad attempt actually. Your voice sounds really nice there. Yeah, you're a bit off key here, but you're learning. You're always saying you're learning. Why can't you do that?" None of you people can do that. All you can do is look at something and see if it's got value to you. That's all you're doing, because you're self-centered. The vast majority of you, there's a few of you, and I can't discount your value to this channel. But those of you that don't... Oi, guys!
Oi!
Oi, mate. Good to see you.
Look at these guys, look at them! Look at them, they look like they're on the piste.
The piece or the piss?
Both! Oh my goodness. Fucking hell, people I knew years ago. Looking older, looking fucking worn out, they are. People that listen to my songs, and okay, look, most of you people, you're not interested in the songs I sing because they were songs from mostly even before I was born. Buddy Holly died in 1959, for fuck's sake. Lots of these rock and rollers, their songs were fucking from the 50s and 60s. And so you're not into that. And I get it, you're not into it. But if you stepped outside of your own self-gratifying state of mind, and if you looked at the songs I'm singing and asked yourself, does that sound all right? Does it sound in tune? I mean, I don't like the fucking music. Elvis is a fucking knobhead. But, it fucking sounds alright. It's mostly in tune. Fucking alright, mate. Not a bad attempt, that. Yeah, but you don't do that, do you? Some viewers say, "Oh, you should concentrate on your own personal evolution instead of like always, poking at us and this, that and the other." No, I'm never going to stop that. Fucking muppets and plebs fucking sucking on my life force. You're going to pay the price. You and the Awakened Brave boot camp, motherfuckers. And if you don't realise it, it's about time you fucking did. I'm always going to be on your case. Because you fail in so many realms. You're a failed species. If you're not a failed species, then, you are enlightened and, you're making an impression on the world. You're fucking doing something. Someone's going to remember you when you fucking die. Instead of going, "Oh, if they say, oh, fucking Bert's dead, you know. Who? Bert, you know Bert. Yeah, he used to sit in that corner over there. He was supping on his brown ale. Oh. Why didn't anybody remember him? Because he never fucking did anything. He never fucking said anything. He wasn't a memorable character of any description. He was nothing. And so that's what 99% of the fucking populace are. And some people will be thinking that the human being's great because they're looking at fucking movie stars and rock artists and all that sort of stuff, and they're going, oh look, there's brilliant human beings. Well, they're just one in the fucking gazillion. You know, one in the gazillion Brad Pitt, one in the gazillion Leonardo DiCaprio, one in the gazillion Anthony Hopkins, Jim Carrey, all these sorts of things. Underneath them, there's just a pile of fucking festering shit called the human race. Fuck's sake. So, I'm always banging on at you. What do you think? What do you feel? Do you fuckers feel any fucking thing? Do you fuckers think anything? But what I know about the human race is the vast majority of them don't. You don't actually have thoughts of your own. And people could say, well, how do we know to go to the gym then? How do we know to go to work? Because you're automated, you're running on programs. You're not thinking about things that you could create or you could do out of the ordinary. You're just doing what society's programmed you to do. You're just running off the fucking program. You're not thinking. And I actually fucking am in communication with someone which doesn't have any fucking thoughts. And when I do something or say something, he would say, how do you think that? How did you know how to do that? And I'm kind of like, fuck. Wow. And I want to pose to him, how the fuck do you exist? How the fuck do you fucking continue living without a single fucking thought of your own? It's one of the miracles of this thing called the human being. It's a fucking miracle. And you see, there are a few bright sparks that understand this about the world and the idiot, and that's why they create governments, and that's why they self-assume positions of power, like monarchs and fucking tyrants and oligarchs and all the rest of those self-imposed positions of power over the idiot. And the idiot just accepts it. Like the idiots in Britain, just accepting the royal family, drive around in the gold fucking cart and have got the biggest fucking diamond on the planet and all this and fucking that. And when there's people fucking sitting in fucking doorways and can't afford to get their fucking teeth fixed, and the old cunts are driving around in the gold fucking carriage, who do they think they are? The fucking muppet allow it to go on. So, I'm always asking you what you think, but then of course I'm realising they don't think, Aaron, they don't fucking think. You know, if they were thinking about any fucking thing, then they'd have their own channels, and they'd be writing their own fucking books, and they'd be standing on a fucking soapbox in the marketplace, preaching what they knew. But they don't know any fucking thing, that's why they're looking at you, mate. I'm like, oh, alright. I suppose if everybody did know something, then nobody'd watch me. And I'd just be fucking standing on a soapbox and nobody'd be listening. Well, I suppose it's fortunate for me that nobody fucking knows anything then. And that's why they listen to me. It's a funny world, isn't it, people? It's a funny world. But just getting back to the notion of people thinking that they know something. Bear in mind, people, that the vast majority of people don't actually know anything. Because knowing is experiencing. And if you haven't experienced it, you don't fucking know it. And so it's just kind of like, what's it like to scuba dive on the Barrier Reef? And if you've seen it on telly, on a David Attenborough fucking series or something, you'll think, I know what it's like, scuba dive on the Barrier Reef. Oh, I've seen it on David Attenborough. No, you don't know. Have you actually put on a scuba diving equipment? Have you learned how to scuba dive? Have you actually felt that experience? No, so you don't fucking know. So shut the fuck up. Do you know what it's like to climb a mountain? Do you know what it's like to fly a fucking plane? Do you know what it's like to play fucking golf? If you don't know what it's like to play fucking golf, if you just watch it on telly, then you don't fucking know, do you? And that's the thing with people. So, if you just copy and paste that over the whole fucking spectrum of what you think you know, then you'll discover that you know very, very little. And so, if you look at how computers are programmed, if you've never actually done that, then you don't actually know. You may have read it, but you haven't instigated the thoughts. You haven't come up with the designs. You haven't followed things through from the conception to the end and all that, so you don't know, do you? And you may see trees and birds and wildlife and you think you know it. Oh, that's a tree! Well, what sort of tree? How long do these trees live? How big do they get? How do they flourish their leaves? How do they draw up the sap and distribute it to the leaves? I wonder what mechanism is this. You'll know something like, you've heard that, trees breathe in carbon dioxide and they breathe out oxygen. But do you know how they do that? Have you even looked into the process of that? Have you looked into the process of photosynthesis? Have you looked into how plants transmute photons into glucose? Have you looked into that? No, so you don't know, do you? There's a billion things. And some of you could say like, you don't know about this and you don't know about that. No, I don't know how to play a fucking violin. Never even tried. I don't know how to play a piano. I've had a fucking fumble around on lots of pianos, but I don't know how to play a piano because I'm not a pianist. So all those sorts of things. So what I'm saying to you people, if you think you're gaining knowledge and wisdom by just watching YouTube, then all you're doing is creating and building up a stronger fantasy. That's all you're doing. You're just increasing the level of deception and fantasy within your mind. Because for every second, minute, hour, day, week, month, year, you sit in front of the computer thinking that you're learning nothing. You're learning absolutely nothing because you can't verify any of this stuff. You could never verify none of it. And so therefore, you don't know it, do you? And that's how it is, people. That's how it is. You got to get out there. You got to get hands on. You got to roll your fucking sleeves up. You got to get dirty. Otherwise, you don't know nothing. And so these people that think they're spiritual and they burn a little bit of sage and they light a candle and they have crystals around the house, how many of them have actually entered into the paranormal? How many of them have had a spiritual experience, a religious experience? How many of them have travelled out of the body? How many of them, all this sort of stuff? A fraction, a fucking fraction. And so you just got a load of wannabes, yeah? A load of charlatans and wannabes. That's what the world's full of. Yeah. Yeah. And so the question is then, what do you think of the Awakened Brave? What do you make of him? Look, people, let's just say I'm a human being having a human experience, and I'm asking you out there, are any of you human? Because I only am aware of X amount of humans, a small fraction. And someone said this the other day in a comment. You know, when I'm blustering about fucking losers and muppets and this, that and the other, he says, well, have you ever considered that there may not be these numbers may be a lie. And it just me, the algorithm, just pretending. When in actual fact, the only people that are watching you are the people that engage because they're the only human beings. And that's a very good point. It's a very good point, because a real human being would really engage with someone like me, because I'm so compelling, I'm so enthralling, I'm so interesting, I'm so different, I'm so alive, and yet people, they could never ever even introduce themselves that I've been watching you for ages and I'm a shrinking violet fucking knobhead and I don't know anything. Why would you want to say that? The only people that would want to introduce themselves to me is, I know as much as you do. Oh, I know some of what you do, and I love your fucking, and I think like you, and you think like me. Well, you know, there's a few of you that are doing that, but a very, very small proportion. So what I have to deduce, logically, reasonably, rationally, is that all the numbers are fucking bots. And if they're not AI bots, they are actually AI bots in another realm. They are automated drone fictions of human beings, like Westworld, not fucking real, conscious, soulful, spirited beings. Drones. How many of you fit that description? How many of you could really say that you know because you've experienced what I'm speaking about? Fucking hardly any of you. And some of you may have a little experience of this and a little experience of that. Oh, you've done some mushrooms here and you tried DMT once and this, that and the other. Well, you know, you've got to do fucking things multiple times to get all the different variances and nuances before you can really say you're starting to know something. You know, you can't just say you know how to play golf if you've done one fucking round of golf, can you? You know, because there's so many things that you haven't learned, so you don't know how actually to play golf. You could say I've had an attempt at playing golf, but you see, people get mixed up in the semantics. They don't know how to distinguish between the semantics. They're just all confused. And so I'm always trying to weed out who's alive. Who of you are alive? Who of you have got some stories to tell? Who of you that have really travelled? Some of you write me emails, some of you write it in the comments, and I'm grateful for that. But you're far and few between, aren't you? You know it yourself. You look down at the comments, you think like, oh, is there anything fucking interesting? Aaron's saying some great fucking shit. He's doing, you know, this, that, and the other. He's thinking of fucking stuff out of the box. Has anybody got anything to say, to share? Invariably not. So it's kind of like, well, fucking hell. Waste of fucking time even reading the fucking shite. I think for a channel to get lots of comments and interesting comments, you have to have millions of viewers, because it really is a tiny, tiny proportion of the human being that's got anything fucking worthwhile listening to say. And with a person such as myself, with a channel such as I have, one would have thought that most of the people on the channel would be very experienced and insightful and learned and this, that and the other. But it doesn't appear to be. And if you say to yourself, well, we're not all like you, Aaron, we're not all Ralph the Mouth, you know, some of us just sit in quiet contemplation. Really? I don't believe it. I think you're creating a fantasy to justify your existence. Because anybody that does really know anything, then, you know, they're doers or teachers, aren't they? They're not just so fucking sitting there silent and holding everything in. It doesn't work like that. The world doesn't work like that, people. And so when you've got like these gurus that are out and about, you know, all the ones I've mentioned to them 1,000 times, those ones that are spreading the word and sitting down, available for questions and these sort of things, well, you know, it's difficult to know whether they have the drive, the compulsion to do that, because spirit compels them to do that, or whether they're doing it for the money. You know, how would we know? But when you look at people like Sadhguru, you can evidently clearly see, well, he's in it for the fucking money, driving a Rolls Royce, and he's got $10,000 worth of fucking silk garments on, and it's all just a fucking act with his turban, because when you see him out in the street driving his Rolls Royce, he ain't got a turban on, he's got his Ray-Bans on, he's got his fucking sneakers on, his jeans on. It's just a fucking act when he sits in front of the Muppet, isn't it? And then he professes to be illiterate, that he can't read or write, and people go, well, you seem to know a lot of fucking stuff, considering you don't fucking read, mate. Just a lie, just a con, just a fucking bullshit, people. Bullshit. And so, you know, what do you guys see in me that you don't see in them? Well, one thing you see real, don't you? You see fucking real. You see balls. You see confidence. You see a power. You see cosmic fucking energy. And so, why don't you put a few words down? Why don't you just fucking say it? That's what I'm saying. Why don't you just fucking say it? You know, I often speak to you about people I admire. I go like, that Morg official. I go, that guy, he's fucking brilliant. I think he's fucking brilliant. He's pretty well like me. He doesn't fucking cut any of his videos. He's a mine of information. He's got his fucking facts right, whatever he's read and this, that and the other. He pulls the pieces together and he goes, oh no, fucking dares about things. And so he's great. And then I listen to lots of other people like Jordan Peterson. He's a fucking thinker. You can see where all his information comes from. He's fucking pulling it out of the fucking cosmos. And so that's something. Rather than when you listen to people like fucking Sam Harris, who's like fucking watching paint dry, you know, with completely no charisma at all. So it's been, I don't know, it's been over a week, and these things, they've blossomed, and now you can see them. You can see them. I can't see it because the sun's in my face, but you can see them better. They've done their thing. Unless, of course, no, because they need to be bigger before they blossom. So no, we haven't missed it. No, we've not missed it. It's yet to come, so that's a good thing. Now, I remember there was one down here which was more advanced, and so let's have a look at what this one's doing. From here, it looks like these catkins are bigger, and these have gone over. These have already blossomed. I think last time we saw them blossoming, didn't we? Because I was going like this and all the blossom was coming off of them. So now you can see these have withered. These are only very, very short-lived, people. The miracle of life, it comes and it withers very, very quickly. That's the thing about life. That's why it's so important to be present. Because I've not been past here every day to see how it's getting along and to be with it, with its manifestation. Then it manifested and now it's disappeared, and I won't see that again until next year. And so I've got to wait a whole year for that to manifest now, because I failed to come because the weather wasn't that great, and this, that and the other. So this is why we always have to be present, people. We have to be present, and the only thing going on in this life is the present. That's the only thing that's real. Everything else is Maya, and the only thing that is real in our presence is presence itself. It's just the awareness of any given thing. That's the only thing that's real. Everything else is a projection. Now, in this book, The Way of Mastery, it says, I've told you before, and this is supposed to be Jesus speaking, I've told you before that everything about this world is a projection of your thought, and so you create your reality. You colour your world by your thoughts and your experience and your biases and your perceptions and everything like that, because there is no world out there. Every single thing that we perceive is in here. But I would even go one stage further than that to really fuck you up, and just to say that there's no even in here, because this is a fiction just the same as everything else. It's within consciousness. It's within the mind of God. It's within cosmic consciousness. So call it God, call it infinite consciousness, call it cosmic consciousness, whatever you will, but it's this thing that we know as consciousness or awareness. That is the only thing that is irrefutable. Everything else is irrefutable, and many philosophers throughout the years have done this, and the main one being René Descartes, the French philosopher, and everybody always quotes him, I think therefore I am, and everything else is Maya. And so but it doesn't matter what I say, and this is why I'm always looking for your feedback, because it doesn't matter what I say. I will get stupid people saying stupid things. Jesus is Lord and He's our Saviour, because they're stuck in that stupid fucking rut that they were indoctrinated into from when they were in kindergarten and when they were in junior school, and they're doing nativity plays and baby Jesus is being impressed upon them, that he was born in the manger, and all this fucking shit. Look, can you imagine being born in the manger, being born in a fucking cow shed, and being laid to rest in this fucking hay or straw, which is the fodder for cows to eat, which is full of fucking ticks and bugs and fucking shit. Can you actually imagine that? And giving birth in a cow shed with cow shit all around, what sort of a condition for health would that be? It's all nonsense, people. It's all a crock of shit. It's all fucking ridiculous. Good God. But people are still so deeply entrenched in their bullshit. And, very few people will ever enter into the state of consciousness which I'm speaking from. I know that some of you do. I've always got to keep saying that, because otherwise, I've told you, I put comments down and all this. Fuck's sake, I hope that most of you are evolved. The ones that you do engage, then you always know I'm not talking to you, don't you? I'm talking to fucking 99% of the fucking retards that just can't conjure up a fucking line or a message or nothing. They're just locked in. They're like catatonics. And in this day and age of social media and fucking surveillance, they're still like catatonics. They're all locked in and they can't talk and they can't express themselves. How painful, how purposeless, how frustrating. If you could talk to a catatonic, one of these people that just has this fucking mental closure, and then they can't function anymore. They can eat and they can shit, that's all they can do. They can't communicate in any shape or form. But if their mind is still alive in there, can you imagine how frustrating that is? I want to fucking talk, I want to live, I want to do this and that. I don't want to just be no. But you're only one step ahead of that, people. If you can get up and walk around, you're only one step ahead of that. If you don't have the ability to communicate, who the fuck doesn't have the ability to communicate these days in any real meaningful way? What sort of a fucking curse is that? What sort of a devilish fucking spell is that? It's like the curse of the Tower of Babel. Everybody's been cursed so they can't communicate with one another. Just like Moses. Even Moses never had the tongue for communication, and he was chosen by God, for fuck's sake. What the fuck? Out of all the people in the fucking world, you chose a cunt without a fucking tongue? What sort of a god are you, you fucking retard, if you ask me? Fucking retard. Honestly, people, none of this thing makes any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. The only fucking sense that this thing makes, it is complete and utter bollocks, and it's just a dream. It's just a dream because it's so paradoxical. There is no definitive truth in any shape or form. It's all a paradox. If you accept the fiction, and if you go, I'm a human being, then we can go, I'm enjoying the sun, I love those clouds, I love nature, I'm having a nice time here. Yeah, but don't think about it too hard, because if you do, you'll shatter the illusion. You'll very easily shatter the illusion. So just fucking accept the program. Just accept that the cosmos, for some reason, for some genius, has created this fiction for us to enjoy, or not very often. We make of it what we will. But the cosmos, God consciousness, thought it was a good idea. And the saying goes that, cosmic consciousness is genius. It got bored of being itself, and so it thought, well, it fucking separated its consciousness into gazillions of other fucking specks of consciousness, and to experience itself, or to evolve, you see. Because, look, we can't say that consciousness is experiencing itself now, because it's experiencing something new, because there must be things on this planet which is new to consciousness. Unless there's planet Earth all over the fucking cosmos and they're all doing the identical shit, well, what would be the purpose of that? There would be no purpose to it, would there? Why would you keep replicating that? So you'd hope that your consciousness would keep evolving and evolving and evolving and evolving. And so even what I'm doing now is something new, and the cosmos is benefiting from it. all what I'm saying is going out into the Akasha, into cosmic consciousness, and other enlightened beings will be able to tap into that information like I'm tapping into other people's information, like all the ancient philosophers and, you know, fucking Alan Watts. You know, we listen to Alan Watts. Alan Watts is just a fucking carbon copy of me. I'm a carbon copy of Alan Watts. We're all a carbon copy of the same thing, which is cosmic God consciousness, because the human consciousness is only capable of, say, a level. You know, we've got lots of levels down, but the pinnacle of human consciousness seems to be constrained into the fiction of this dimension. We kind of like, we know that, you know, we're not the body and it's a fiction and this, that and the other, and we've had excursions out into the dimensions of consciousness, but that's where it ends. But when we take things like DMT tell us that we are absolutely everything. We've been everything forever and ever and ever, and we'll never will be anything other than what we are forever and ever and ever. And it is all Earth, where you go, wow, I'm fucking God. I'm cosmic God consciousness. And so whenever you guys listen to me saying these things, I've never had any of you refute it, by the way. I've never had any of you say like, oh, you think you're God, oh, you think you're Jesus. No, I've never had any of you say that, which is kind of unusual, because I would have thought all you people who are giving fellatio to Jeshua Ben Joseph would have had something to say about that. But you don't. It's kind of bizarre. But if you knew where what the real root of this Christian faith is about, then, you know, if you knew it was about the Christos, and it's about, you know, our inner selves, it's about the temple within, and it's, you know, human consciousness and human experience, that's all it is, and everything else is a projection about God, Jesus, and fucking heaven, and this, that, and the other. It's all consciousness, people. So we are it. So of course we are the author of everything. That makes us God, doesn't it? And particularly in view of the fact that there isn't a single being, and there never has been a single being on the whole fucking world forever and ever and ever that could ever say what, even fucking hazard a guess what consciousness is. They haven't even come close. So therefore then, doesn't it stand to reason that, well, we don't know what consciousness is? What else don't we know what it is, really? Or the notion of God. We don't know what the notion of God is. There's so many different notions and perceptions and concepts of God all over the world, but they're kind of like this thing that we don't know anything about. Well, isn't that consciousness? It's the same fucking thing, that thing that you don't know anything about. So therefore then, can't you accept that God is consciousness? And we are consciousness, so therefore we are God. It's a simple no-brainer. If you want to read all the lineage of my thoughts on this, then buy my fucking book. And if you bought the book, then you really need to fucking read it. You need to read it, people, because there's not been a single one of you that have pointed out some of the conjoining that I've done with these things, because there's quite a lot of unique perspectives in that book, like there is when I'm speaking all the time. You won't hear this stuff anywhere around. You'll hear a little bit of it here, you'll hear a little bit of it there, a little bit from this guru, a little bit from that philosopher, but you won't hear all this stuff coming together anywhere else on the fucking world outside of the Awake and Brave channel. And you know, this is why, you know, I appear to be somewhat frustrated, because I can't find anybody to match my genius. I just can't. It's just not possible for anyone even to come fucking close. And even though some of you viewers, you tell me that, oh yeah, you know, this, that and the other, well, I would have thought if that was true, then you would have been jumping at the chance to share each other's minds, share within each other's beautiful minds. I mean, what the fuck have you got to lose? Someone will go, he doesn't know what I know. What the fuck have you got to lose, really? And if you're not the most articulate, I'm a good listener. And I can listen and I can prompt you, just like I do with AI. You see how genius the Awake and Brave is? You know, he's a natural therapist. He's just naturally brilliant. And so you don't have to worry about anything other than looking into the face of God, because you will truly die. Have you heard that one? How many of you heard that one? If you look into the face of God, you will truly die. Well, if people come before me and they really knew who I was, then they would die in an instant. But you don't know who I am, you see, because you don't know who you are. If you knew who you are, then you would know that you are God, and you would know that I am God. And so therefore we couldn't look into the face of each other, because we're looking into our own faces. And so therefore that's why we don't die, or we wouldn't die, you know. Ah, goodness me, have I fucked you up? badly. I've fucked you up badly, haven't I, today? I've fucked you up so fucking bad that barely a single one of you have remembered a fucking word I've said. You've not managed to compute or take anything on board. You've not managed to fit the pieces of the puzzle in. You see, with most people, they've got like, let's say they open a jigsaw puzzle and they've got a pile of fucking pieces, and then they start to tentatively look at the box. I mean, how many people have to look at the box? You know, if you're going to make a jigsaw puzzle without looking at the box, then that's quite something, because you've really got to use your mind. But if you don't use your mind like that and work it out for yourself, then you look at the box. So you're just a copycat, aren't you? You're just copying. And so when you copy, even when people are copying, they manage to put the corners, the four corners of the jigsaw puzzle in, and they manage to get a few other bits like that. Tentatively building, and you look at all the stages of a jigsaw puzzle. Let's say from the beginning, before you put the corners in, then you put the corners in, then you put a few more bits and a few more bits and a few more bits. Well, that's where most of you are. You don't have the full picture of the jigsaw puzzle. You don't even have 3/4. You probably have about a tenth or a thousandth of a jigsaw puzzle. You put a couple of pieces in, and then you can't join up the other pieces. Whereas people like me, then they've got a pretty good picture. They're missing a few bits here and there, but not much. You can see what most of the picture is, and that's why I can speak so eloquently and profoundly about all this stuff, because my consciousness actually has put all the pieces of the cosmos together, and it involves the spirituality, the psychological thing, the biological thing, the physical thing, the metaphysical thing. It involves every single thing and facet of what it is to be a human being. You bring it all together and you build your fucking jigsaw puzzle, people. And so what do you have to say about that? What do you have to say about it? What in comparison to yourselves? Do a comparison. Do like, oh, I haven't a clue what you're talking about, Aaron. Yeah, I'm interested, but I still don't know what you mean. Or, oh, yeah, I know what you mean in some things, but you lose me on this, that, and the other. Or I have a different opinion about this, that, and the other. Why do you have a different opinion? Well, because you've got different experience. And maybe you've not read extensively or have had the experience extensively, because the way I see it, if anybody did have the experiences extensively, then you come to the same conclusions. And this is when we get into the realm of the guru. The guru are like, we're not real, it's all Maya, and we're God consciousness, and everything else is a fucking dream, and all that. And so the gurus have got that right. But there's lots of things that the gurus don't have. And I've listened to, like I say, many of them, and they've only ever got one little crap fucking story of how they became enlightened when they entered into samadhi or left their body or something like that. I've got fucking scores and scores and scores of them. Why? Why is this? That's what I'm asking, people. I'm asking why. And I'm asking any of you, have you got scores and scores? Have you got a dozen? Have you wrote them down? Have you recited them? Have you archived them? I can recite every single one of mine almost identically as I did the first fucking time, because they're indelibly embedded in my psyche, because they were so powerful, they were so meaningful that I've burnt them into my consciousness. Anyway, people, you're just mere mortals, and you've probably got to go and pack chickens now, or you've got to tarmac my roads, or you've got to drive Amazon vans to deliver things to me. You've got to do something for me, that's for sure, because I don't do anything for anybody else, so everybody does things for me. Why is that? Why is everybody doing everything for me? Why everything I use, everything I'm wearing, everything I'm eating, why is it all made and produced by somebody else? And I'm just going, thank you, like a queen bee. Why is that? It's because I'm a self-realised shard of God consciousness, or I am a manifestation of God here on planet Earth, just like Jesus was, right? And so, he's blaspheming, he's got the Christos fucking complex, he's got the Messiah complex, he thinks he's better than us. Fools. Fools.